Jelly Trumpet! Combine, Part 2. If I had a boat, I'd name it Sharon.
Tony, enough about Sharon. Now, where were we?
For some reason, a poorly set flux capacitor, perhaps, we landed Jelly Trumpet in your fantasy world of Quentin Tarantino.
Gentlemen, I've removed myself from the cupboard and would like to return to where you kidnapped me from, along with my colleague, Dr. Watson.
Apologies, Mr. Holmes. Why did you put Sherlock and the Doctor in the cupboard, Mr. B?
Could be useful having a deductive detective around the podcast.
Consulting detective. How many times do I have to say it? Okay, wait. Mr. B, have you put anyone else in one of the studio cupboards?
There appears to be a singer in the cupboard sipping on a milkshake.
I'd like to go to the shops now. I need sausages and Nigel needs his nuts.
Won't be a minute, just going to watch this Reservoir Dog scene again.
Very well.
Well, Mr. B?
Nigel, ici. Tu as du lait? We need milk as well.
We'll be away in a minute.
Well, Mr. B?
I put them in the cupboard, all right? You know, for later. People come in handy, don't they?
Yes, they do, Mr. B. Most of us message or phone or even meet people who are useful. We don't keep them in cupboards.
But if you keep them in cupboards, you always know where they are.
What? Oh, yes, that is handy. Well, a fair point.
Oh, there she is!
Lady in yellow, Dr. Watson. This could be quite interesting.
Very well, Motom. We shall return to the podcast.
Come, Dr. Watson.
You too, Miss Bit. Where's she gone, Mr. B?
What? Oh, she went that way. This is my favourite bit of dialogue in the whole movie. Well, that and the torture scene.
We're not hanging around for a discussion as to the meaning of that Madonna song.
I take your point, Mr. Jim. It's a mite passé these days. The different code names they give each other, that's a good scene for dialogue too. Mr. Brown, Mr. Pink, Mr. White.
I agree, yet we'd be taking it out of context if we were to listen in. And it lacks the menace of something like No Country for Old Men.
Fair point.
I'd be happy with being called Mr. Pink.
Very different world from 1994, Mr. Jim. What were you typing?
I'm writing a new scene for the movie. One where they take their code names from fruit.
From fruit? Like what?
Well...
What would Tarantino say to fruit?
Fruit.
He would, you know.
Well, I'd name them Mr. Grape, Mr. Lemon, Mr. Mango, Mr. Banana, Mr. Guava.
That's a fruit salad, Jim, not a band of dangerous criminals.
Well, it needs some work. Better get back to the podcast.
Yes, we should.
Right, close the door, Mr. B.
Thank you, gentlemen. Dr. Watson also expresses his gratitude.
Well, are we going?
Closing door, selecting coordinates.
Right, back on course for St. Albans.
3, 2...
One moment.
What is it, Sherlock? I need a big shop, then back to the Aquitaine, and a resumption with our war with the Pope.
Aren't we forgetting someone?
No, we haven't forgotten anyone.
No, Sherlock, we're all here.
Better count them, Mr. B.
Righto, I'll just run the guest spot and then we can have a jolly good old counting session.
Interview countdown.
So, welcome to our guest, Sasha Mandel. Yes, I'm not very good at words. And he's from Grantify, which is a very, very interesting organisation, which we'll talk more about, probably hear it in the bonus. So we're going to kick off with 12 questions in 12 minutes. So, Sasha, thank you for joining us on Jelly Trumpet.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure so far.
So far.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So far. Let's see how you feel in 12 minutes. So, question one, what is your business?
So, yes, I am a storyteller by trade, and I also trained as an actor. And then by day, I help creatives secure funding through the Arts Council's National Lottery Project grant. But in terms of my side project, which is what I'm really passionate about as well, is I want to create a show where the guests come on, and as a consequence of coming on, they create something with me. So if they're a musician, we might create a song. If they are, I don't know, a dancer, we might do a dance routine. And then each episode has a theme. And so this is something that I'm kind of building at this moment. Currently, that is what I'm doing.
Cool. Lovely, like that. Who is your creative hero or heroine?
So I suppose there's a lot of people actually, but I would say Mr. Kanye West in respects to just being so multidisciplinary and kind of being able to get to such deep places creatively in so many different kind of pillars, you know, from fashion to music, technology, business. So yeah, I just think that he's quite this kind of wunderkind person that actually in kind of 200 to 300 years time, we will look back on him as a kind of Mozart of sorts.
Wow.
Yeah, I just think that he's completely out of the box, and he'll be remembered for being quite a huge innovator.
It's very cool. None of our previous guests mentioned him, so that's
all right.
So as a creative, how do you start a project?
How do I start a project? It's interesting. I suppose the project that I'm currently working on at the moment, on the Mandelpiece Live, what I've learned is from working at a tech startup like Grantify, what I've done is I'm doing it the reverse way that I would normally do a fringe piece of theatre. So I'm using a technique used by kind of founders of startups, rather than kind of thinking, oh, here's an product, and then I'm going to try and sell it, is that what they'll do is you kind of do a marketing campaign to get research and development to find out what people are looking for. So I'm going to create essentially a kind of survey for people to fill in, which will allow me to gather enough data to understand what kind of shape I want the show to be in. And yeah, that's how I'm starting it, through a marketing campaign.
That's a very unique approach. I like the idea of that. Question 4 is, to what degree do you map out that project?
That's an interesting one. At the moment, I've found this really great piece of software called Miro, Miro. And what I really like about it is it's almost like this digital corkboard where you can kind of pin, you know, different shapes and, you know, arrows to different areas and stuff. So I'm quite a visual person. So I've kind of started to create a map of like essentially the journey that someone would take to do the marketing campaign, because I want to go from them filling out a form to them being interested in buying a ticket in my show. And if they are, they would give their email address. So if I can collect 50 people's email addresses that are basically saying, yeah, I'm interested, email me when the show is up to be on sale, then I'm ready to go. So I'm using Miro as a way to do that.
Brilliant. I like the sound of that. I also like the way that you're combining creativity with the modern world, with digital as well.
Yeah.
This you might not be able to answer then because it's in progress. But how do you know when a project is finished?
So I was thinking about that one actually. Someone asked me that yesterday as well, actually, funny enough. So I was doing a video for a friend's kind of fiance's hen do. Kind of, they were doing a comedy video and they asked me to edit it. So I spent the weekend over the Easter bank holiday kind of editing this video. It was kind of a mock Oscars award ceremony. Asking the groom different questions about the bride, and you know, it was quite fun. And what I realized, because when I edit videos, is that when I get to that point, essentially, it's when I have to take something away. So if there's a draft of when I look at it and I go, actually, I need to take stuff away. I think that's the point where I realize when it's finished, is when I've added so much that just by taking just a little bit away, I'm done.
That's an interesting one. I think that's something a lot of creatives share and you have in common with them. Now, question 6 we've got to. What's the best thing someone has said to you that kept you going when it was a struggle?
Oh, the best thing. I don't know. For me, it was kind of like, in a weird way, actually, I was thinking about it, was when I was kind of wanting to take a rest from creativity. And I think that a realization I had was, you are the only person that gives yourself permission to do it or not. And actually, by putting the ball down, it doesn't mean that you're like, it's done forever, right? You know, you can go away for a year, you could go away for 5, but that ball will always be there for you to pick up. Right. And I think that's something that really stuck with me, which was, you know, you can take a rest from it and then try and come back to it from a place of being like, oh, I love this. This is great.
Cool. Are you honest with yourself?
Am I honest with myself? In what respect, I suppose?
In terms of your creativity, are you honest with, is that good enough, for example?
Oh, is that good enough? Yeah, no, I think that's an interesting one, because I think that a lot of people, we fall between kind of being a perfectionist and being a bit too lazy and not putting out like work where you're kind of incrementally getting better every time. And I suppose, yeah, it's a difficult balance to find that area where you're like, this is the best. But I think the most important thing, this is great advice I've always had from some people, which was always be shipping, you know, a little bit like the Glengarry, Glen Ross line, always be closing, right? It's like, just finish it, just go, just publish, because you'll learn as you go. I don't think I've got to work on that. Yeah.
Right then, what's the proudest you've ever been of one of your ideas?
Proudest of my ideas was when I had created a kind of mockumentary. I have an alter ego called DJ Schlafer, and I went out into Leicester Square and I kind of essentially found this person that believed that they could get human beings high through the power of human connectivity. And I kind of interviewed this person as he goes around Leicester Square with this huge boombox trying to make people dance together. And we managed to get like 150 people. And this was right before the pandemic hit.
Wow.
And then the pandemic hit and I had all this footage and I lay on it for a year. I just didn't touch it. I was just like, I don't know how to even start editing something like this. Slowly, I watched loads of Louis Theroux, Weird Weekends. I started reading like, you know, how does a documentary work? And so by making that video and actually producing and editing it within a year was really the proudest idea I had.
Wow, I love the sound of that. What is your next project?
I suppose I've already spoken a bit about it.
You can give us a bit more.
Yeah, it's called On the Mantelpiece Live. And yeah, it's just meant to be a place where, you know, themes are explored, whether that be, you know, food waste, the environment, or, you know, the power of tradition. Each episode will have like an idea or a philosophy that it kind of tackles. And then each guest will come on and we'll create something together and then show that on the evening. And then also have potentially also kind of guest speakers, not celebrities so somewhat, but more people who are knowledgeable within the area of the questions that are being asked within that theme. Just kind of building a marketing campaign to see if there's some demand for the show before I go ahead and actually start to build it.
Cool. Well, we'll talk a bit more about that in the bonus. Here's an interesting one. I like this question. Should creativity be taught as a skill in school?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I think school is a very kind of old idea where, you know, people were designed to be machines, and I think that we're going away from that now. And yeah, I think the schools kind of have to just drastically change the way that they operate. Creativity should be at the center of that. Essentially, creativity is problem solving, and we have, you know, an environmental catastrophe on its way. So we need to train people how to be problem solvers to try and solve the biggest problem, you know, the existential threat, etc.
Now, it's another of my favourite questions. If a 10-year-old asked you, what one thing would make me more creative, what would you reply?
I would say just ingest as much culture and information and books and films and plays and people and conversations and smells and sights, you know, just try and record all of that, because that's all kind of almost like the oil underneath you that will be used to power your creativity, because no idea is fully, you know, in of itself. It's all part of, you know, ideas and traditions and, you know, cliches and, you know, accents and things like that. So yeah, no new idea under the sun. So it's all just remixes of old things. So the more you have of that, and the different areas of which you are curious in, you can start to see principles underlying it all.
Cool. How can a listener get in touch with you?
They can get in touch via email, sasha@grantify.io. That's grantify.io.
Cool. Thank you very much for that, Sasha. And you have unlocked the bonus question.
Fantastic.
You're marooned on a desert island. Which 3 things wouldn't you want on the island?
What 3 things wouldn't I want on that island? That's a curveball. What wouldn't you want? I suppose I wouldn't want a television because there's nowhere to plug it in. So it would just be kind of lying there on the beach. Maybe I might use it as a boogie board. I'm not quite sure. What else could I really not have to need? I mean, I imagine this island is going to be quite hot and tropical. So I imagine like an electric blanket wouldn't be that useful. I just think that it would just kind of get soggy and, again, there's no electricity. So it's just soggy kind of non-electric blanket. What else is there? I suppose maybe a VR headset I wouldn't want because I would just get too deep into the matrix and then just spend all my days in the VR reality rather than actually trying to make a decent living on the island by myself.
Cool. Well, that was very interesting. That's the most interesting set of things not to take that we've ever had on Jelly Trumpet. So thank you very much for that. So, Sasha, thank you very much for being on Jelly Trumpet.
Seven, 8, there we are.
Correct, Doctor. There should be 9 of us, possibly more, but then again, I have not examined all the cupboards.
Let me think. Me, Mr. B.
Miss Bit, you tort à la viande.
Oh, yes, Mr. B. We're missing Miss Bit.
Ah, yes.
Well, we should go back for her.
But should we?
Leave her here? Leave her here in some fantasy world you're making? No, that's a...
Idiots! Get her back.
You too, Nigel.
The Queen is right, Mr. Jim. We can't leave Miss Bit here in the world of Quentin Tarantino.
You're right. Open the airlock.
Airlock opening.
Wonder why she ran off like that.
My suspicion is she is in a...
Back in your cupboard, you, and take the Doctor with you.
Why did you do that, Mr. B?
I was tidying up. Can't have Sherlocks all over the place.
I see. Now what?
Challenge Jim!
Each episode, we challenge Jim with a creative exercise.
I'm ready.
The challenge this episode, Mr. Jim, is to combine a fairy tale with any of the coolest brands you know.
Cool
And
brands.
we're off.
Cool brands, eh? Let's think. Beauty and the Beast, and Aston Martin. So you can have Beauty and the Aston Martin because the Aston Martin is a bit of a beast. Yeah, okay, all right, I'm failing. Right, I'll keep going. The Emperor's new Apple. So there's the Emperor, and he's got a iPhone 3GS, and he thinks that's pretty damn cool, but everyone ignores him. Why? Well, they're on, iPhone 12 now, maybe 15 by the end of this week. Goldilocks.
The Piper of Haagen-Dazs?
The Piper of Haagen-Dazs. Yeah, okay, I like that, but how
20
can
seconds.
you pipe ice cream? I mean, really. Goldilocks and Glastonbury. Goldilocks and the Three Bears at Glastonbury. What could possibly go wrong?
10.
Well,
9,
they could just fall down
8,
a muddy pit,
7,
and then
6,
Goldilocks is sort of sunk, and the
5,
Three Bears pull her out, and
3,
end of story. It's just
2,
another short one, isn't it? I've failed miserably again.
Tony's word of the episode.
Tony's word of the episode. Tony's word of the episode.
Gyllenhaal. Gyllenhaal.
Thank you, Tony. The definition of which is what Gillian Anderson has behind her front door.
Are you sure, Jim?
No, you're right. This feature's getting worse.
Tony's word of the episode. Tony's word of the episode.
I wonder why Miss Bit ran off like that.
Do you think she was running after the bride?
Could be. Could be she dropped something. A lucky charm or, say, a comb. I mean, a tall person who knows how to use a katana is a concern.
It is.
We'll go this way.
Why, Your Majesty?
Nigel has her scent.
Oh, yes, Nigel the sniffer squirrel. He can smell disappointment, can he?
The hint of coconut.
Nigel, lead the way. Mr. B, is C-Mac armed?
C-Mac is armed, Mr. Jim.
Oh, isn't that Bruce Willis on a motorbike?
Yes, it is, and that's Ving Rhames. And look!
Oh, God, no.
Oh, what is it, Mato?
Let's take stock.
Good idea.
I think we should leave Miss Bit to this Tarantino fantasy. Get back in the podcast.
Get back to St. Albans.
That hurt, Your Majesty.
Just a suggestion, you know.
Oh, stop sulking, the pair of you. You are podcast makers, not proud boys.
Sorry.
We're really...
Oh, stop apologising. Move.
Let's follow Nigel.
C-Mac?
I sent C-Mac out on point. He'll message if he sees anything.
Great.
Small point, Mr. Jim. Shh. You didn't write this, did you?
No. Shh. It's out of my hands.
Could be interesting then, like an experiment.
Yeah, like a fantasy. What? Shh. I'm a bit scared.
This is fun. I hope we get to meet Mr. Wolf.
Oh, we could all do with a Mr. Wolf. Imagine that. The fixer, the cleaner. No more messy encounters, no more broken relationships. Everyone just gets cleaned.
Yes, everything messy is magicked away.
Boys, I don't like the sight of blood, but in your case, I am willing to get a mop out.
That's the scene with Travolta and Samuel Jackson in the car with that boy sitting on the back seat. Remember what happens next?
What?
Let's follow them.
Was that necessary?
C-Mac, report location.
I've always wanted to say this.
Yes, do it.
Mr. B, follow that car.
Tales from Jim's Medicine Journal.
Characters. Yes, writing characters can be a struggle sometimes. If you're forcing a character to do something in the plot you have in mind, then the character is not set correctly. Characters, when they're whole, will do their own thing. The number of times I've had an idea of an ending for a piece and the character hasn't cooperated is a lot. I like to have an ending to aim for, but I'm willing to change it. Having an ending in mind is useful as you have a target, and as mentioned, characters you thought would do one thing become bloody-minded and do their own thing. So how do you know if your character is set? You know when you watch a movie or a TV show and you start to laugh or you become expectant about a character's action? That's anticipation of how the character is going to react. Well, most of the time. When you have anticipation of a character's reaction, then that character is set. If you're not sure, write something off script for the character. Put them in a situation where they have to react. Does it excite you or make you laugh? Then try the character again. If they don't fit, why do you think? Will you pursue them or abandon them? Perhaps it could be changing one aspect, their accent or their age, etc. Give it a go. Don't get too close, Mr. B.
Okay,
This is a car?
Yes, Your Majesty, a V8 Dodge Charger.
they're turning.
Pull up there, behind the dumpster.
Dumpster. Ooh, you've gone all American.
They are moving again.
They've still got that boy in the back seat.
Oh no.
That must be C-Mac.
Oh no.
It happened.
Why has their car window gone red?
Strawberries?
Yes, a strawberry milkshake. The boy was holding a strawberry milkshake. They went over a bump in the road and the milkshake sprayed all over the back window.
What was the message from C-Mac?
He says time to run the micro sitcom, and he's found Miss Bit. Running micro sitcom now.
Now let's start up Micro Sitcom. My middle name is Hermit. Our Micro Sitcom, the Startup Part 2. Mary the Entrepreneur is guesting on the Empress podcast.
John, why does your coffee machine have a skull and crossbones on its display? Well, that's odd.
Now, ladies, a slight hiccup, listeners. The Empress podcast is coming to you live this morning. Sorry, folks, a little problem with the coffee machine.
Warning. We have control of your coffee machine, John. Now all we need is 2 bitcoins and you may drink your favourite Americano. John, are you listening?
Bev, would you do something, please?
I'll pay, not the coffee machine, not again.
I would just pull the plug like this.
Rebooting. Nice try, John. Open the pod bay doors, John.
Well, while we're sorting that out, Mary, why is Babymaker your brand name?
Oh, it's an abbreviation.
John, listen to me, John.
I'll give it a few whacks with my shoe.
So, Babymaker is your second venture this year, I believe.
Daisy. Daisy, Daisy,
Give me your answer due. I'm half crazy. All for the love of...
Happy landings, Natasha.
Thank you, ladies.
Oh, but we're no ladies. Well, not for you anyway. Oh, well, I've had quite enough. Prosecco, Bear. Prosecco, Mary.
Are you sure C-Mac checked in here?
What the?
Oh, it's Bruce Willis.
The movie is out of sync then. Willis doesn't appear till later.
Is it because Miss Bit has got into the plot?
Ken?
I don't think so. C-Mac says the corner of 5th and Lexington. That's where we are.
No sign of her.
Are we going to wait here?
What's C-Mac doing?
I can send Nigel.
C-Mac isn't responding. Some sort of interference.
I can send Nigel.
Right, we wait till C-Mac is in range.
Okay.
Right.
Oh.
Where are the Queen and Nigel going?
I don't know.
Well, we can't leave them.
Do you think they might get hurt?
No. Well, maybe. We'll have to follow them.
We have to follow. C-Mac, run audio.
List of the week.
This week, things I do on Mondays. Number 1, wake up, curse the day. Number 2, get up, curse the day. Number 3, have a mug of hot water with fresh lemon juice. Number 4, eat breakfast, shower and dress. Number 5, wonder what Kate Blanchett is doing this morning. Number 6, plan something laden with potatoes to eat tonight. Number 7, wonder if there's a Big Bang Theory I've not seen. Number 8, work some more, wonder what the world would be like without computers. Number 9, worry about something. Number 10, eat a lot of carbs and not go to the gym. Number 11, to bed with a book and some hope of a brighter tomorrow. I don't see anyone.
C-Mac, come in.
Oh, there he is. But where is Her Majesty? Nigel and Miss Bit?
There's only one way to find out.
Yes.
Over here.
Thank God.
Thank our lucky stars.
No, thank Nigel. He brought me straight here.
Have you seen Miss Bit?
Yes, it's not pretty.
Why?
Look.
Well, I'll be damned.
Why would she tie a man to a chair?
Perhaps he's a fidget. Wait,
That's the bride.
what are they doing?
Well, let's go and see.
Wait.
Wait!
What's she doing?
We'll have to follow.
No ways of seeing.
Not this episode, Tony.
Sharon never got on the plane. Join us in further episodes and be more creative. Pick up tips and tricks you can put in the play instantly. Try exercises to boost your imagination. Listen to creative guests. And a whole lot of what we call fun. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or ideas for Jelly Trumpet, email us jelly@jellytrumpet.com.
That was close.
Very close, Mr. B. Much like the last episode.
You were epic.
Couldn't have done it without Mr. Wolf. Nice chap. He sorted everything so quickly.
And Bruce, the way he rode in on that motorbike, total Travolta and Jackson with a barrel of a shotgun.
Oh, heroic. Almost as handsome as Spain.
Well, quite.
Yes, quite. We should get back then.
I can finish the shopping. Nuts for Nigel, minichettes for you, Monsieur Jim.
And I can finish my new button.
I can finish the last episode, episode 9 of Jelly Trumpet Season 2.
Right, this way.
Let's go.
Your Majesty, could you pick up some fresh coffee for the show?
Of course.
I think we'll stick in the present reality for the next episode of Jelly Trumpet.
I agree, Mr. Jim.
Hello, what's got into Nigel?
He's drawing our attention to Miss Bit.
And the bride.
Oh, what a lovely couple they are.
Perfect.
Here's to our next, gentler episode.
Oh, they are waving us goodbye.
Sometimes, fantasies...
Don't say it.
The bride and Miss Bit, eh? Don't know what we'll say to Mr. Stick.
Oh, we'll think of something, Mr. Jim. Continuez, petit pied.
Aye, aye, for all mankind!
That was Jelly Trumpet, making you more creative with Jim Kinlock and Mr. B. Sponsored by Conversion Detectives, the creative digital marketing agency. Search conversion detectives.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for all those that encourage Jelly Trumpet. Thank you to Mr. Tony for the voice work. Thank you to Miss Claire, the voice of Queen Eleanor and Mary the Entrepreneur. And thank you, Mr. B and Kel. Stay fab.